Hitman is a very special game, seriously. You won't find anything else quite like it on the market. Even with the newer Hitman games offering more features and mechanics, I keep finding myself drawn back to Hitman Blood Money. There is just something about it, the fun, the atmosphere, the vibe, that newer titles don't fully capture. So, what makes Blood Money so special? And why do I still think it's the best one in the series, even after all these years? Hey yo guys, it's Neurotalk Gaming speaking. Today I want to dive with you into what I believe is the best assassin game I've ever played. For many fans, Blood Money stands as the pinnacle of Hitman series. When people talk about Hitman, this is the one that always comes up. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's take a closer look at why this game still holds such a special place in gaming history. Let's start with the basics. Blood Money is a game that plays surprisingly well even today. It's a game that embodies the atmosphere of its era. Released in a time when games weren't afraid to push boundaries and explored varied edgy experiences, Blood Money really captured the imagination. Thinking about level design, 1 minute you're infiltrating a grand opera house and the next you're sneaking through a glitzy Las Vegas casino or seedy underground BDSM club. The variety is insane and every mission feels like its own unique puzzle. The game starts relatively simple, with the tutorial set in an abandoned amusement park. It's not the best representation of what Blood Money is all about, but it gets the job done. Here, you are tasked with eliminating Park's owner, who struck a shady deal with local gangsters. The level is linear and straightforward, perfect for learning the ropes, but it does not really represent what you will be doing in the rest of the game. So, talking about the ropes, Blood Money introduces a ton of new mechanics compared to the earlier games. For the first time, Agent 47 can climb, jump across gaps, shimmy up elevator shafts, and even kill from above with his iconic garrote.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Melee kills are also an option now, though they're loud and messy, and if things go south you can even grab someone as human shield. While some of these mechanics cater to louder, more action-oriented playstyle, we all know Hitman isn't about running and gunning. The tutorial level is the only exception. It doesn't penalize you with notoriety or ratings, so you are free to go full chaos mode here if you want. And actually, in Human Shield tutorial, you will have to kill several bandits anyway, but don't worry, the rest of the game will not force unnecessary violence on you, unless you choose it yourself. And let's be real, we've all been there tempted to accidentally toss someone off the balcony just to see if it works. Right after you finish the mission, you're greeted with newspaper summarizing your escapades. Alongside this, the story of the game begins to unfold. But before we dive into the plot, let's talk about these newspapers, because honestly, they're one of the most original features I've seen in gaming. At first glance, you might just skim the headline and move on. But if you take the time to actually read the full article, you'll notice something amazing. It adapts perfectly to your playstyle. The level of detail is incredible. Let's say you went full chaos mode shooting 116 bullets but only hitting 6 targets. The article might cheekily call you an amateur shooter who can't aim to save their life. It's not just funny, it's also a subtle commentary on how you approach the mission. The newspapers track whether you killed civilians, left witnesses, or went full stealth mode. If you play the game, I highly recommend reading through them. It's almost like hearing a narrator commenting what you're doing in Stanley Parable type of thing. So the game's story is continuation of Hitman Contracts, but don't worry, it's comparatively bare bones, so you're not missing much if you didn't play it. You will see a strange character reading a newspaper you just read about yourself. He won't appear again until the very end of the game, but he is about as important to the plot as traffic cone in a stealth mission. So the whole story revolves around the guy from FBI who was hunting 47 and finally caught him. And all the contracts we are playing is just journalists reading about our work while talking to the main antagonist of the game, by the name of Leland Kane. The biggest chunk of the game does not really relate to the story being told, and you're just doing missions as if everything is okay. The only thing that ties back to the story is that Diana, your enigmatic contact person with the agency,
Hello 47. Your next target's in Chile.
And that many other agents are dead and going missing as time moves on. No big deal, right? Just another day in the life of professional assassin. I will return to the rest of the story a bit later, so let's dive into the most important part why everyone loves Hitman, the gameplay. So, every mission in Hitman begins with a briefing. Diana's calm professional voice guides you through the main details of the mission, giving you the rundown on all your targets and objectives. It's a simple touch, but it sets the tone perfectly. One of the features I love about Blood Money, and something I really missed in the newer Hitman games, is the freedom to customize and prepare your loadout. You can select both your pistols and larger weapon to bring along, and the game lets you modify and upgrade these weapons as you progress. The customization options are extensive and satisfying, giving you a real sense of progression as you unlock more powerful gear. That's not all. Blood Money adds a cool trophy system. Any weapon you find during a mission can become part of your arsenal, as long as you successfully escape the level with it in hand. It's a fun little incentive to take risks, especially when you're eyeing some gangster's fancy shotgun and thinking, this would look great in my collection. Your agency weapons can evolve into something truly unique over time. For instance, your iconic pistols can be upgraded with scopes, laser pointers, different silencer levels, and even magnum ammo. Magnum ammo, by the way, is a game changer. It turns your pistol into mini cannons capable of blasting enemies halfway across the level or even punching through the doors. It's not just your firearms that can be upgraded though, you can enhance your miscellaneous equipment as well. Faster lockpicks, painkillers for healing, or a bulletproof vest to reduce incoming damage. There are plenty of options to tailor your approach. Personally, I have found that bulletproof vest is a bit useless. It only works with your original suit, and I personally switch out from it almost at the beginning of each level. Because who is going to blend in while dressed like a funeral director at a typical hillbilly party? Not me. So, once your loadout is ready, you head into the mission. The main mechanic revolves around earning money based on the quality of your performance. This money isn't just for bragging rights, it's how you fund weapon upgrades and purchase valuable intel for upcoming missions. The intel system is similar to mission stories in the newer World of Assassination trilogy, but with a key difference: there is no hand-holding here. The game gives you a hint about opportunities, like target being left alone or a chance to stage an accident, but it's up to you to figure out the details. And yes, the game sometimes plays fast and loose with what qualifies as an accident. Dropping a chandelier with a mine, somehow that counts as an accident. But hey, who's complaining? It's all part of the fun. The missions are incredibly varied, giving you total freedom to approach them your way. Whether you go in guns blazing, stage elaborate accidents, or execute the perfect stealth kills, Blood Money accommodates all playstyles. The gameplay feels fast and responsive overall, but there's one thing I wish they'd streamlined: body dragging. Moving a body to a hiding spot can take forever, and it's especially frustrating when you're trying to keep up the flow of stealth you run. On the bright side, sometimes NPCs are hilariously oblivious. You could be dragging their coworker right past them and they'll just pretend not to notice. I call these smart NPCs, because honestly, they're just trying to avoid becoming the next body you're dragging to a dumpster. Each mission in Hitman Blood Money features a variety of scripted events and specific opportunities. These are carefully designed and feel natural and thematic, but what's great is that the game doesn't lock you into these plans. You're free to experiment and come up with your own solutions, even if they're loud, messy, and leave a lot of witnesses. Take the Las Vegas casino mission for example. To move forward, I had to surrender my weapons and deliver an explosive leaden briefcase to my target. In most games, that would be the extent of your options: follow the plan or go guns blazing. But Blood Money encourages your creativity. So the developers, either intentionally or by happy accident, left a half wall near my target's location. I noticed this, and on the map I realized I could see exactly where he was sitting. So instead of handling him the briefcase personally, I decided to yeet it over the wall in his general direction and hit the detonator. Not subtle, but absolutely effective and hilariously satisfying. One of the Blood Money's biggest strengths is how each level feels distinct, offering unique challenges, decorations, and overall atmosphere that keeps things fresh. So, for example, in the opera mission you can swap out the fake prop gun for a real one, turning a stage rehearsal into the unexpected tragedy for your target. Or in the nightclub level, one of your targets performs pyro shows, perfectly set up for a little technical malfunction. Or a jacuzzi that has a bit too fragile of a glass and hangs exactly over a cliff. I'm actually surprised that it didn't break much faster than this. The creativity doesn't stop there. The levels themselves are surprisingly large and detailed, especially for a game released in 2006. The environments feel alive with sprawling layouts that encourage exploration and experimentation. Some of the levels even feature technological feats that were stunning for their time, and even nowadays I don't see that many games that can realize it nicely. The level where we need to prevent the assassination of one of the prominent politicians, for instance, simulates a bustling crowd of NPCs, while the nightclub mission feels like a real packed venue with dancing and interacting characters. And not only the approach in each mission is different, but also the style and atmosphere are different. If first missions are easier, less protected and secured, and you don't feel much pressure, but as you go further, you find that security gets more and more tight, and also some additional assassins are present on each level which could target you. I would really not recommend following women in this game to secluded places. More often than not, you're not getting lucky, but rather getting stabbed. And yes, I'm talking from experience. One of the standout improvements in Hitman Blood Money is the enhanced detection system, which feels more intuitive and realistic compared to the previous entries in the series. Disguises play a critical role, and if you're dressed as a guard or a worker, you can generally roam wherever your role would naturally allow without raising suspicion. Guards and NPCs won't give you strange looks just because you're out of place, as long as your behavior aligns with your disguise. However, the system reacts dynamically to events in the level. For example, if guards discover and identify a body, their behavior shifts. They become more suspicious and might even start recognizing you despite your disguise. What I love the most about Blood Money's detection system is that it feels fair. There aren't random NPCs who immediately know who you are unless they have a legitimate reason to suspect you. That said, system isn't without its quirks. For instance, if you try enter a nightclub in a fancy costume instead of casual t-shirt, the police might shoot you on sight. Apparently, high fashion isn't appreciated there. Similarly, if you show up to a wedding venue wearing your starting suit, it's an instant death sentence. These moments are rare though, so they don't really detract from the experience. They're just a bit of a head scratcher. One thing that massively changes how the detection system works is notoriety. If you leave witnesses or get recorded by CCTV cameras, people will start noticing a bald guy with a barcode on his head. They will know what to look for regardless of disguise you're wearing, so if you're carelessly killing people and not cleaning after yourself, you can get into a lot of trouble. Notoriety can be reduced for money after every mission by giving bribes to witnesses and public officials, but it will quickly eat up your savings you had for cool new upgrade or intel. And also, unfortunately, even paying bribes won't fully eliminate the challenges you face in Hitman Blood Money. If you're trying to avoid spoilers, you can skip ahead to here. As we progress through the missions, we uncover a sinister backdrop to the events of the game. Agent 47 has been captured and is being prepared for his own funeral. The franchise, the rival organization, has a horrifying plan. They want to kill 47, harvest his bone marrow, and use it to clone an army of perfect assassins. The seeds of this plot are planted early. From the second mission Curtains Down, we see hints of 47 being followed. By the end of Opera mission, it's clear that someone is tracking him. This ties back to Hitman Contracts, where we learned that 47 was shot shortly after completing that mission and had to escape from operatives working for the franchise. As the game progresses, we see the franchise systematically dismantling the International Contract Agency, ICA, where we're working. Operatives are eliminated one by one, leaving only Agent 47 and Diana Burnwood.
It's their business here tonight.
I think you are. You and I are all that's left of the Agency 47, and I doubt I'll survive much longer.
I'm sorry to hear that. Has my fee been transferred?
More than usual. I'm splitting what's left.
The tension builds as 47 closes in on franchise leadership, culminating in one of the game's most pivotal moments, preventing the assassination of US President. This mission also brings us back to this enigmatic man glimpsed reading the magazine at the start of the game. It turns out that he's another clone, like 47, designed solely for an assassination. He's been sent to kill the president, but, true to the narrative and gameplay, 47's superior skill prevails, and his counterpart is defeated. This encounter reinforces 47's status as the ultimate assassin. Just when it seems that 47 is gaining the upper hand, the story takes a shocking turn. Diana betrays him, leaving him incapacitated and scheduled for cremation. This act appears to save her life, aligning her with the franchise, or so it seems. In reality, Diana is playing a dangerous double game. She uses a serum we previously encountered during a mission at the wellness center. This serum mimics death by suppressing vital functions, making the victim appear dead until the antidote is administered. As the game nears its conclusion, we witness one of its most iconic scenes. Diana approaches 47 during his funeral, applies the antidote using a kiss, and places his signature pistols on his chest. She leaves, locking the gates behind her, ensuring 47 has everything he needs for his final act of vengeance. As the credits begin to roll, you're given a choice that perfectly encapsulates Blood Money's spirit. At any moment you can rise from the coffin, guns blazing, and turn the funeral into bloody massacre. It's cathartic, high-stakes finale that lets you exact revenge on the franchise's leadership, avenging the fall of ICA and reclaiming 47's place as the ultimate assassin. And also, you get to kill this FBI agent who was following you and turns out to be a franchise leader in disguise. So, before we wrap up, let's talk about visuals. Compared to the modern Hitman games, Blood Money leans heavily into stylized and distinct art direction. While the newer titles boast higher graphical fidelity, they can sometimes feel a bit more bland and sterile. Blood Money, on the other hand, has this comic-like, almost exaggerated style that gives it unique charm and personality. What makes Blood Money's visual and atmosphere so effective is that they never try to be overly realistic. Instead, they focus on creating spaces that feel purposeful with exaggerated details that reinforce the tone of the mission. Whether it's opulence of Las Vegas casino or the absolute decadence of the underground club, each setting is memorable because it feels crafted with intention. Blood Money became much more colorful and cheery game compared to its predecessors, especially earlier levels. Some of them are even cheery and homey, like the level with Christmas celebrations. The character models in this game are also made in exaggerated and caricature manner. Most of the guys in this game, especially the guards, are crazily buff as if they go to the gym every day. Most of the women are very sexualized and in some levels they wear very revealing clothes. With this, some of the levels, especially Underground Club one, reminded me heavily about the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, to be honest. One thing I absolutely can't overlook is Hitman's Blood Money incredible soundtrack. Composed by the legendary Jesper Kyd, the music perfectly complements the game's tone, enhancing every mission with mix of tension, drama and style. From the hauntingly operatic pieces in Curtains Down to the pulse-pounding electronic beats during the high-stakes moment. The soundtrack feels like another character in game. It captures the mood of each setting, pulling you deeper into the world. Even outside of gameplay, tracks like Apocalypse and Ave Maria are unforgettable. They linger in your mind long after you've stopped playing, a testament to how well crafted and iconic this soundtrack is. It's not just the background noise, it's what makes Blood Money such a complete and immersive experience. So here you have it, guys. Hitman Blood Money is great from its creative and open-ended gameplay to its memorable levels, stylized visuals and griping, if slightly pulpy, story. It's no surprise that this entry remains a fan favorite in Hitman series. What makes Blood Money truly special is how it embraces freedom, creativity and personality in ways that few games dare to. It's not about being the most polished or most realistic, it's about letting players feel like they are the ultimate assassin, with all the tools, choices and chaos that entail. Even as the newer Hitman games continue to evolve and push the series forward, Blood Money holds its own as classic. It's kind of a game that sticks with you, not just for its gameplay, but for its charm, for its quirks, and the sheer fun of figuring out how to turn every mission into your own masterpiece. So, whether you're revisiting or diving in for the first time, Hitman Blood Money is a reminder of what makes gaming great, and I totally recommend you play this game.